I'm very excited to tell you about this new series that I'm making. It's called ES6 for Newbies. ES6 is a new JavaScript version since 2009, and it includes a wide array of amazing features in which a developer can use to help their productivity. And it's also bringing JavaScript to a new generation of modern programming language. So at the moment, many browsers support ES6, although not 100%. Most of the browsers that self-update, which includes Chrome, Firefox, Safari, and IE, they are mostly starting to support a lot of features in ES6. Now, you may get confused sometimes with ES6 and ES2015. They're the same thing, basically. But I think the committee decided to go with ES2015 so they can start release new features every year. So you can check out this website. I'll post it in the description below to see what features your browser support. There's many features for ES6, so be sure to look at that. So today we're going to start with a simple feature of ES6 called the arrow functions. Let's use my favorite site called JSBin, and we'll start to test the ES6 features. So for first thing you need to do in ES6 is you have to make sure you turn on the ES6 mode here in JSBin, and then you can start using ES6 features right in the browser. So the first example I have here is a pretty simple one. So all this is doing is looking at it starts to create a new object called myvar, and it sets a name to pentacode, and it sets a number to this array of numbers. So I have this function here called print numbers. All I wanted to do is have it print each number in myvar.numbers. So if you're coming from ES5 background, this may look familiar. We have this trick called self equals this. So if you need a refresher on lexical this keyword, this may be a good time. All this is doing is I want to go through a list of numbers from my numbers. So in this case, it's calling numbers here. And then I want to loop through it. And then I just want to print the numbers out. Now the key thing here is this variable here. I have to do self.name to because self it's outside of this function here. So if I do this.name, it will be undefined because there is no such thing as this.name within this function context. So I have to set a variable called self, which refers to this. So now the this here refers to myvar. So if I do, basically self is the myvar.name. This way it'll say pentacode, counts, and then the number. So if we run this thing, you see it says pentacode counts 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now just to show you I'm not joking around, you can, let me set this to this.name, and then we run it. It says JSBin output. So this is only special to JSBin on the website, but if you do this on your code or in your browser console, it'll say undefined. So the other way I see some people do is you can keep this.name. You don't even have to do this part. You can just do a bind this here, and then this will also produce the correct results. So you have to do this bind here to make sure the keyword is binding to the global myvar context. So now, how do we do this in ES6? Well, it's actually quite simple. We just have to change a few things. First of all, we don't need this anymore. And then we have to use the arrow function. Arrow function will only bind to the context that it is used in. So if I can remove this keyword called function here. And then all I have to do is add a fat arrow here. And if I run this, you see, it magically worked. It understands that this here is coming from myvar instead of from this function within here. So this is really cool. You can use this to really make your code a lot more readable, and it's very easy to, it's very helpful for you. So this is really cool. You can just use that. I'm gonna show you. There's a shortcut to this code. Let me grab a new set of code here. So this here is basically very similar to before, except this time in print numbers, I'm setting a variable called this num plus 1. And then all this is doing is storing the result of this .number.map. So you're going through each number, and then I want to return each number plus 1. So basically adding 1 to every element of this array, and then store it in num plus 1. And then I'm just logging it here, and we should see 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is the expected output. Now there's a shortcut way of doing the fact arrow function. So you can make your code even more readable by, if you only have one parameter here in this parameter function, you can just get rid of it. And then here, if you're returning a simple statement without any complex, multiple statements, you can basically omit the braces, and then you can omit the return statement. So it becomes this. And if I run it again, it's the same output. So this will make your code really readable. So all this is saying is I want to go through each number and then return each number plus 1, and then set it to equal to this variable. So this is the basic introduction to the arrow function. I hope you find this useful, and then keep an eye out for more tutorials on different ES6 functions. Thanks for watching.